Good morning. Welcome to our Talks. Anthony. Today we're going to have a simple conversation. For those who are new to the channel, we make mental health conversations and content that's going to be beneficial to your personal development in addition to your well-being, right? But in today's conversation, we'll be talking about growth may cause familiarity, right? So I think that's really important for us to take into consideration that one of the hardest parts of growth isn't, just the work, right? It's letting go of what's familiar, right? So we're going to have to get out of our comfort zone. We're going to have to do something that's different. We're going to have to break our patterns, right? We're going to have to get away from different people. We're going to have to really get into our discipline, get into our bag, really, focus on what's going to be beneficial for us so we can get our goals met, right? When it comes to friends, they come and go, family come and go, right? We realize healthy patterns, we realize dysfunctional patterns, right? So a lot of things, like I said, when it comes to growth, it takes a lot of sacrifice. You got to give, So we're going to have to really kind of change our ways to improve for us to get to where we want to be once again. So I really want us to take into consideration that anything's possible when we put our mind to it, but we got to embrace, the new path, of growth, right? So let's get into it. So when it comes to normalizing the experience, right, change naturally brings uncertainty, right? So it's common for us to feel as if we miss our old routines, our relationships, the old version of yourself, perhaps, right? Even if it wasn't, you weren't the most healthiest person in regards to that lifestyle, but it's common to miss and think about those memories, right? But when it comes to familiarity, it can feel safe because it's simply it was known. It was really relatively known to you. It's the old version of yourself, right? And thinking about change, thinking about growth, it's like going through a storm. You're gonna be able to go through a storm, and you're gonna come out a different person, right? You're gonna have different experiences, different things are gonna, but at the same time too, we gotta realize, like I said, it's a process. So with that being said, let's continue. Let's get into some psychoeducation. The brain is wired, to prefer predictability because it reduces that uncertainty, right? So like I said, you don't want to feel uncomfortable. You want to feel neutral. You want to feel comfortable. In regards to whatever you're doing or the environment that you put yourself into. So I really want us to take into consideration on how the brain operates. Positive changes can activate the stress because it requires adaptation. This is why growth, can feel uncomfortable because it feels empowering, which is something, like I said, that you're not used to doing, right? So once again, like I said, some people have that perseverance mentality where it's like, I'm gonna get through it, I'm gonna do what I gotta do, you're gonna make it happen, right? And that's really good. We want to get to that point as well. But at the same time too, some people are just kind of, indecisive, a little shy, and uncomfortable because this is something that they're not familiar with doing, But we got to take in consideration, like I said, we got to be able to kind of have that mindfulness, deep breathe, find some coping skills, because when anxiety comes, what can we do to get our mind wired? We got to understand too, get ourselves in the presence, right? Stop focusing on too much of the future, of the outcome, and stop focusing on the past of either what was familiar. Really just trying to get yourself a grip of yourself so you're able to really understand that you're here, you're working on trying to improve your situation, You're trying to grow, you're trying to improve, but one day at a time, right? But little things that we do add up, you feel me? So I really want you to have that compassion with yourself, be your best friend, boost yourself up, but like I said, try your best to kind of, keep yourself in the present so you're able to take one step at a time to move forward. And every day, like I said, these things add up, right? So moving in regards to practical framing, how to let go of looking back, or like I said, our mindset, right, is you gotta appreciate where you have been, right? At the same time too, where you're trying to go, right? So at the same time too, that we can still be able to love, on both sides of the aspect, but we got to be able to move on so we're able to grow, right? So it's not for you to be stagnant, it's not for you to be stuck, it's not for you to be torn from the floor, but whatever that situation may be, but we can grow and we can improve out of our situation. So outgrowing something doesn't mean that you have to, keep, revisiting in that sense. You got to keep putting in a reset, but it's just like I said, we got to be able to understand, we got to be able to outgrow, and we can move forward. Every season teaches us, something in life, and it's not for us to stay in that season forever, right? So I gotta take that in consideration, right? So regardless if you're stressed, you're struggling, this, that, you're gonna get through it, right? So we gotta be able to, like I said, remind ourselves what we're doing, what our purpose is, you feel me? Why we're doing what we're doing, right? What is our why, right? We're trying to improve, we're trying to grow, we're trying to, become a better version of ourselves, right? It's always not just about the outcome, but it's about the individual. Look at the character, you feel me? It took the resilience, it took the mindset for you to shift. It took us from a negative situation to a positive, you feel me? Some of us that are coming from dysfunctional dynamics, we gotta take that in consideration, right? We don't wanna crash out, we don't wanna pop out, we don't wanna compromise our lives and our situations, right? Let's make something positive out of our situations so we're able to grow through life, right? And we're able to look back on this and be like, yo, look at the person that I have became. We're in alignment, right? We changed our ways for the better, right? And it wasn't easy, It wasn't easy. Anybody out there that had to go through this growth process, they'll tell you it was not easy. So don't get it twisted, right? So for examples in regards to some, situations where people may be going out there, it's like, leaving some relationships that no longer, you know what I mean, support that person's growth. Like I said, some of us need to really understand who we're hanging around with. If we ain't having anybody that's motivating us, pouring into us, loving us, giving us real affection, real love, none of that manipulation, none of that you're trying to control you, none of that trying to play with you, not trying to, you feel me, like real love, you feel me, what's going on, what are we doing? Right? Changing careers or pursuing a new opportunity. Some of us are really trying to improve our situation. We're tired of just being stuck. We're tired of just feeling as if that we ain't got no purpose. What's going on? I'm tired of just sitting on a, you know what I mean? Creating healthier routines. Health, you know, health is something serious. And for those out there that are in America, this is something that we don't talk about, but someone got to give you and deliver the realness of that. We got to start taking care of ourselves, right? We have a lot of dispensaries on the block. Every other week there's a new dispensary. There's always a fast food down on, you feel me? But what about, I mean, what about you? Some of us got to start cooking for ourselves. Some of us got to start eating more vegetables. You know what I mean? More fruits. We got the smoothies, we got the juicers, but we really got to start changing our lifestyle so we can improve our health. Because health is wealth, y'all. It's not about, like I said, the possessions. It's about ourselves, about your wellness, self-care, you feel me? Self-love, right? Letting go of old beliefs that no longer reflect your values. Some of us are still operating in a different dimension, different type of time. Not really, you feel me? Learning, not really trying to grow, not really trying to update. You update the phone, you update the game console, you feel me? Update your tablets, you dig? But what about you? What about us, though? The brain is the, you feel me? It's a computer of the body, y'all. What are we doing with ourselves, y'all? So we trying to grow, we trying to prosper, trying to really get right, y'all. We have to be able to, like I said, that we have to look at different aspects of our life, be real to ourselves, be accountable. Like I said, get away from the distractions, you feel me? Solitude is, you feel me? Where the silence comes, you're able to really get, you know, that inner you comes out, and you're able to build this dialogue. So I really want you guys not to self-sabotage, but really use the time to really understand how you're able to improve your situation, y'all. Like, this is something that we really have to be able to spend some time on to be able to really get the outcome that we want to desire. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's not about the possessions, it's about the person, yo. Look at the character. You feel me? Some of us are going through our dark days, but it's about the positive mentality, the mindset that we have, and that's keeping us through, it's keeping us, you feel me, maintained. So I really want us to understand the things that you do, the things that you love, you enjoy, you can bring that with you, but you gotta understand too, we gotta be able to sacrifice someone, you know what I mean, to get to the outcome. You feel me? So I really want to be transparent on that aspect, right? When it comes to some micro action, because we know better, we tend to what? We tend to do better, right? So identify one area, you know what I mean? You're holding back because you feel it feels familiar, you feel again your comfort zone. I mean, be real to yourself. And then ask yourself, you know what I mean, follow-up question, right? Does this align with the person that you're trying to become, or simply you're just comfortable because you in your bag, you in your spot, you familiar with this, you feel me? So be real to yourself, you know what I mean? And it's okay, you know what I mean, to be comfortable in your spot, like I said, but we have to come to our senses one day and realize, like, yo, we wasn't meant to just be in this spot forever, you feel me? We was meant to kind of be proactive, movement, you feel me? And also too, movement breaks down that anxiety and that depression, right? So that's why physical activity, working out, walking around 15 minutes a day, doing something, you feel me? To get your body right can really help you break down that stress or whatever you got going on. So I really want us to understand that, like I said, we can move, we can improve, but we gotta understand, let's take a steps towards that growth, all right? So take one small step forward, like I said, in your life that feels unfamiliar to you. Like I said, growth is based on your values. So really kind of you're gaining values and you kind of, like I said, spend more time with yourself. Journal, you know what I mean? Shit, we do this for real, y'all. Do this for real. Spend some time, journal, develop that, you know what I mean? Self-dialogue with yourself, right? But really realize, like I said, life, personal, like for me, it's all about you. So it's all about what you want, right? You can look left, you can look right. Your friends gonna do what they gonna do. Your family's gonna do what they wanna do. But what about you, right? So like I said, don't be a follower. Lead your life into that right direction. Get to where you want to be, right? And find what's gonna be beneficial for you, so you're able to have that life fulfillment, right? So discomfort of leaving something familiar can cost you from really being who you want to be. This is something that's gonna limit you from your full potential. I really want to be real with y'all. So please take the time to understand that growth. You know what I mean? It's not an easy process, but it's something that is possible. You feel me? And the little things that we do today can really, you feel me, change the whole character, the whole, you feel me, picture of who we're gonna be for the future if we take the chances to kind of, you know what I mean, be intentional, right? If you found this video beneficial, give it a thumbs up, share if possible, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.